Hello my beauty queens, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking about fall palettes. Now I haven't really purchased too many newer fall palettes. Like I purchased the Charlotte Tilbury Smoky Eyes palette, but I did a review and tutorial on that, so I will link it down below. But yeah, I just want to talk about fall palettes, old school fall palettes that I don't want you guys to forget about because they're Bombay. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get into this video. Alright, so I couldn't come up with a number, so I just picked out the palettes or the fall palettes that I felt like, you know, most people have, especially if you're makeup junkies and you're always on YouTube looking at makeup and videos. I'm pretty sure out of the palettes that I show you, you're going to have more than one. I'm pretty sure. If you don't, then you could just leave that comment down below. But I'm pretty sure you're going to have more than one than the fall palettes that I'm about to talk about today. Okay, so like I said, at first I was trying to come up with, the best 10 fall palettes, or how many fall palettes do I love, or whatever. So what I came up with was, I'm just going to pick out some fall palettes that I've been loving. They're old school. I'm going to just go with their old school. They're not newer palettes. And yeah, so let's get into it. And you guys leave a comment down below and let me know if you own one or more of these palettes. It'll be greatly appreciated. So without further ado, my beauty queens, let's get into it. So we have some high end, some lower end, some mid range. So yeah, so I'm going to start with my JUVIA'S palettes. Now I have two JUVIA'S palettes that I feel like that's very pretty for fall, and I feel like probably most, oh shit, I'm sorry, I don't cuss on my channel. I'm sorry, I almost knocked my palettes over. So I feel like most of my So I feel like these two JUVIA'S palettes right here are very appropriate for fall. They're very pretty. They're very pigmented. So yeah, so let's get into it. So the first one that we're gonna see and discuss is the Try by JUVIA'S. Now, I feel like this is so fall, you guys. This is like so beautiful. Like, look at this. This is beautiful. Like when I first got this palette, and it's inexpensive and it's very pigmented. I mean, it's nothing wrong with this palette other than if you want to just critique it and just be like, oh, you want to find something wrong. The only thing wrong with this palette, I will say, is it doesn't have a mirror. But with that being said, it have this beautiful artwork right there. It's very affordable, very pigmented. And yeah, so the Try by JUVIA'S, I think this is a great, awesome, beautiful palette to have and to break out for fall, because I'm pretty sure all my makeup junkies out there have this palette right here. So yeah, the JUVIA'S the Try palette. And I love this palette, and I will be using this for fall. This is beautiful, because sometimes we get stuff in our collection and then we forget because all this new stuff coming out. But the Try by JUVIA'S is the business. Reasonable, pigmented. What more can you ask for? My second fall palette from JUVIA'S would be the Warriors 2 palette. Now this one right here is an all matte palette, same as the Try palette. It doesn't have a mirror, but it's very beautiful, very fall. You can do whatever you want to do with this palette. So yeah, so I'm gonna put this in my fall palettes, and I'm pretty sure that my makeup junkies out there have this palette, or you have the Try palette, or you have one of these damn palettes. So yeah, this is what we're working with, the Warriors 2 by JUVIA'S. And I'm happy I'm doing this video, because then this let me go through my collection and, you know, use stuff that I already had, because so much stuff coming out, and then, you know, you get lost and you forget about the palettes that you had, which was bomb palettes. But because so much stuff come out, and because we're makeup junkies, we forget about the stuff that we had. All right, so we got JUVIA'S out the way. Okay, coming up next, and this is no particular order, which one I love best. This is just like, I feel like these are nice, really pretty, pigmented fall palettes, and most people, or I ain't even gonna say most people, most makeup junkies have one or two of these in a collection. shall we continue on? All right. So the next up is the Huda Beauty Desert Dust Palette. Now, I practically forgot about this palette. I'm not going to lie. So when I wanted to do this video, like I said, I went through my collection and I'm like, oh my God, like I like this palette and I was loving this palette and I was, you know what I'm saying? So when I saw this palette, I'm like, I love the Huda Beauty Desert Dust Palette. This just says fall. I love this palette. It's beautiful. It's pigmented. I need to show it some more love. So like I said, I'm super happy that I'm doing this this tutorial, because now it's making me more aware of the palettes that I have that I was loving at that time that I need to use due to all the new palettes that come out all day, every day, and we buy them and we forget about what we have and what we loved. Moving right along. Now we're going to go to the, what is this? Too Faced. Now I didn't buy the, what is that called? The new one that came out, the cinnamon swirl, or the bun swirl, whatever that one was that came out for this fall. But I have two that I already had and I feel like they pretty much similar. So the first one I'm going to show you from the Too Faced collection, which is old school, is the Gingerbread Spice. Now this is a beautiful palette. This is a beautiful fall palette. This has been in my collection for a while now. I need to use it. Yeah, and I'm really loving it. So I'm like, I'm not going to buy the Cinnamon Swirl palette because I have this one. And they pretty much similar in the colors. Whether you have the gingerbread. And then also I purchased the Gingerbread Extra Spice, which look like this. And as you can see, they pretty much similar. Let me see if I can show you together. So this, the Gingerbread Spice, and then it's the Gingerbread Extra Spice. So as you can see, they do have, like, you know, this might have a pop of blue, but for the most part, they're pretty much similar. So yeah, the Too Faced Gingerbread Extra Spicy right here, and then I have the Gingerbread Spice right here. So I felt like I didn't need the the cinnamon roll or bun roll or whatever the one that came out this year. I feel like I didn't need it because I had these two right here, which is still beautiful palettes. So if you guys have these, you guys need to bring these out for fall because they're very beautiful, very pigmented, and yeah, they just lovely fall palettes. All right, moving right along. Now we're going to get into Urban Decay. Now I haven't purchased anything from Urban Decay in, I ain't gonna say a very long time, because the most recent palette that I purchased from Urban Decay was the Honey palette. However, the palettes that I had that I feel like that was fall appropriate, and it's just makeup, so you know you could wear whatever color that you want to wear, whether it's spring, summer, winter, or fall. But we're just discussing the fall palettes. So yeah, so like I said, we're into Urban Decay. So one of the Urban Decay palettes that I felt like that was really, really fall appropriate was the Naked Cherry. And here's what we looking like right here. And like I said, I forgot about this palette as well because so many palettes is coming out. So yeah, I will be using this. So majority of all these palettes that I'm showing you guys, I'm going to pull them out so I can be able to use them because I really like these palettes, or I wouldn't have bought them. And they very fall appropriate. They very nice. They very pigmented. So yeah, so like I said, leave a comment down below. These palettes that I'm showing you, which ones do you have? Which ones you forgot? Which ones you got to dust the wipe the dust off because you forgot about them because you've been purchasing so many palettes, because so many palettes come out all day, every day. But anywho, so yeah, the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette, which I really, really like. So yeah, that palette right there. Then we have the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette, which looks like right here. Did I show you the front of the cherry palette, which I already know you guys know because it's been out for a while. But then, yeah, the Urban Decay Heat palette, which I love as well, that I haven't been using. But yeah, this palette screams fall to me. Very nice, very beautiful palette. And yeah, the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. So all these palettes I'm showing you, I'm going to keep them in my eyesight because you know they say out of sight, out of mind, so I can use these damn palettes because I spent my money and they're very nice and I remember loving them, but just so much stuff come out now and then you put your older palettes on the back burner and then they start collecting dust, then you got to wipe it off and then, you know, whatever. All right. So my last Urban Decay palette is the Born to Run. And here's what this looks like right here. And I feel like this one is very fall appropriate as well. The Urban Decay Born to Run palette. And I threw this in my eyeshadow drawer and haven't really used this one as well. So like I said, I need to break these palettes out because they're nice. They're pigmented. And yeah, I wouldn't have bought them if I didn't like them. All right. So now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. I'm almost done. Like I said, I couldn't come up with a number. So I just chose the palettes that I felt like that was fall appropriate, that was old school, that I feel like most makeup junkies had in their collection. So yeah, so far I went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So far I went through 8 palettes. Okay. And so yeah. So what? Juvia's Place, HUDA Beauty, Too Faced, and Urban Decay. And between those, that came up to 8 palettes. Okay. Now another palette that's old school that I purchased that I liked, and then I threw it in my eyeshadow drawer, and then I brought it out maybe like last week, and I'm like, oh my God, like I really like this, and I've been wearing it to work. So the palette that I'm talking about is the Tati Beauty palette right here. And I'm pretty sure you guys know or remember the Tati Beauty palette. And man, this palette is so beautiful. Like, she did her thing with this palette. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was like her first eyeshadow palette. And yeah, this is a beautiful palette. You know, you can rock this. You can rock this for all occasions. You can spice it up. You can tone it down. So yeah, I'm really, really liking this palette. And I forgot about the Tati palette. And yeah, when I brought it out, I'm like, damn, I forgot about this palette, but I really, really like this palette. It's a very beautiful palette. And yeah, so for me, I feel like this is a fall palette. I don't know if you can still get this palette or not because I had this one for quite a while. But yeah, the Tati palette, Volume 1, I think she did her thing with that palette. Okay, so now we getting down. So the other palettes that I have is Natasha Denona. Natasha Denona, and then I have Pat McGrath. So I brought out more Natasha Denona in this tutorial than the Pat McGrath. So we're going to start with the Natasha Denona. So the first one I want to talk about with Natasha Denona, I don't know why the hell I said Natasha Denona. I don't know why that was in my head. But anywho, it ain't no, or I wouldn't have had her. I wouldn't have her palettes. But Natasha Denona. So the first one I want to talk about, which is old school for the fall, is the Gold palette. And this is what it looks like right here, the Gold palette. And then this is the colors right here. So yeah, I think this is a very beautiful fall palette. And like I said, you can spice it up, you can tone it down, like whatever you want to do with this palette, you can practically do it. So I'm really loving my Natasha Denona Gold palette, even though it's been in a drawer and I had to wipe off the dust. But once I went through my collection and I saw this, I'm like, hell yeah, this is a part of fall. This is a very beautiful palette. And I remember when I first got it, I just thought it was such an awesome palette. I thought the packaging was pretty. So yeah, so I'm going to be pulling that out as well, or keeping it out, because these palettes that I'm showing you guys, I'm going to be using these for fall because I forget, and you purchase new stuff and you do this and you do that and you just forget. All right. So another Natasha Denona palette that I have is the Bronze palette. And we all remember this Bronze palette right here. And here's what the colors look like right here. This is an awesome, beautiful palette for fall as well. So you guys, like I said, let me know the palettes that I'm showing you guys. What palettes do you have? What palettes you forgot you have? Because I know I sit here and I go through YouTube and I watch videos and they bring out a palette. I'm like, oh, I have that palette. I haven't used this since I don't know. I'm gonna break this palette out. And then you break it out and then you re-fall in love back with the palette. So once again, the Natasha Denona bronze palette. And here's what we looking like right here. Another old school fall palette that I have. Now this one, it's like at the top of the list. Like I'm not putting these palettes in no particular order because like I said, I love them all. However, this one right here that I'm about to show you, I really, really like this. When I first purchased it, I was using it nonstop to where I had to set it to the side and be like, okay, I need to use something else because I'm using this too much. And it is by Natasha Denona, none other than the Metropolis Palette. And if this baby don't scream fall, I don't know what does. This is a beautiful, beautiful, pretty palette for fall, and I love this palette right here. It's so beautiful, but once again, I had it inside my eyeshadow drawer and I kind of forgot about it until I went through my drawer to do this video, and I'm like, hell yeah, I really like this Metropolis palette, and I will be bringing this palette out. You could do a nude look, you could do a spicy look, you could do whatever look that you want to do with the Metropolis palette by Natasha Denona. You could do it, and I really, 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 did I say really, really enjoy using this palette. So the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. All right, so my last palette, because like I said, I couldn't pick and choose. I'm just like, I like this palette and I want this palette and I use this palette. So once I start going through my collection, I'm like, damn, I forgot about some of these palettes. Like I said, because so much new stuff comes out and you tend to put your older palettes on the back burner. So my last palette, got some dust on here. Gotta wipe the dust off. So my last palette that I feel like that's fall appropriate is the Natasha Denona palette, and it is the green and brown palette. Now this is a very pretty palette right here. I feel like this palette right here screams fall. You could do whatever you want to do with this palette, and I just think it's a very pretty, very very versatile palette. And I feel like, yeah, this is a very pretty palette. And like I said, this one was in my eyeshadow drawer collecting dust. And this one should be the last one collecting dust because of how much I paid for it. So I will be breaking this baby out. And once again, the Natasha Denona green and brown palette. So if you got this palette right here, you guys need to break this out for fall because it's a very beautiful palette. All right. I said that was my last one. I lied. I was a little upset with my Natasha Denona Baba, whatever, palette. And like, cause one of the colors fell out and I had to like smash it in, and it was the color Spot, which is the black shade. And then so it was fine. And then after a while I put this out maybe like last week and I started using it, and then the black shade, which is Spot, fell out again. So I added a little alcohol, like pressed it in. So I was a little upset about that. But other than that, I really been enjoying my Bible palette. And that's what I have on my eyes today. And yeah, I wore this look to work. So yeah, I've really been enjoying this look, other than the damn color Spot fell out. And it's like my second time pressing it in. So I'm pretty sure you can tell. So I'm kind of scared that it might fall out again. But all the other colors being fine. But just that Spot color, I don't know, fell out. And I pressed it back in. So yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you guys own the Bible palette, and let me know if your color Spot or if any other color fell out the pan. But like I said, it's very nice formula, very pigmented, and that's the only color that fell out, which no color should fall out because the prices that Natasha Denona charge. But however, I still love the palette, but I was just a little upset that the color Spot fell out. All right, now I'm done with Natasha Denona. And now I'm down to 2 more palettes that I feel like all makeup junkies have one of these damn palettes that I show, either one or more, because these are like staples. They're old school, so I'm pretty sure you have one or more. So like I said, leave a comment down below and let me know which of the palettes that I've shown you today that you have. All right. So last but not least, Pat McGrath. I have the Mothership Midnight Sun, and that's what this looks like right here. So yeah, so I feel like this is okay, I'm going blind, you guys. So I feel like this is a I couldn't find the black string. So I feel like this is a fall appropriate palette right here. And as you know, this is what the packaging look like. And yeah, so this is the Mothership 6, I'm thinking. So yeah, I feel like this is a very nice, pretty fall palette as well. And you know, I know Pat McGrath palettes are pretty expensive, but I feel like they worth it. And then she also always have amazing sales, like 30% off. So if you don't want to spend, you know, the actual price on a palette, you can always wait for her to have a sale, because she always have really good sales, and it'd be like site wide. So yeah, so this is the Pat McGrath number 6 Midnight Sun, and I think this is a beautiful palette for fall as well. And I feel like I said, out of all these palettes I'm showing you, if you're a makeup junkie or a makeup lover, you guys have one or two of these palettes at least. So just make sure you leave a comment down below and let me know, out of all the palettes that I'm showing you, which palettes that you own, or if you don't own them, which palettes that you want to get out of the palettes that you can get from the video that I'm showing you right now. All right. So my last palette is the Mothership 5. And what is this one called? This one is called Bronze Seduction. And this is what this looks like right here. Very nice packaging, like I always say. Pat McGrath never disappoint on the packaging. And yeah, so this is the Mothership 5. This is what we're looking like right here. And I also think this one right here is fall appropriate, very pretty. And if you notice, like all the palettes that I've shown you, you can spice it up, you can spice it down, you can wear it every day, you can wear it to work, you can wear it to the grocery store, you can wear it to a party, wedding, any kind of function that you want to wear it to, you can do that. So yeah, so the Mothership 5, and that's what we're looking like. All right, my beauty queens, I'm finally done showing you all my palettes that I felt like that was for fall, that I felt like that were old school, that I felt like most makeup lovers and makeup junkies have at least one or two of these palettes. So like I said, for like maybe the third or fourth time, make sure you leave a comment down below and let me know which palettes out of these palettes that I've shown you that you have, and let me know if you're going to break them out for this fall, because you might have needed a reminder, and that's what I'm here for, is to remind you to break them palettes out, because we forget about them because we purchase so many new products that come out, us makeup lovers and us makeup junkies. But anywho, I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you just for being there for me and just, you know, appreciate my content, and I'm getting better. And if you guys have any comments of how I can get better or anything like that, please feel free to leave them down below. And like I always say, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Stay safe, stay well, kisses, peace out.